Hello bakers, and welcome back to the final episode of Behind the Bake Off. I've really enjoyed baking along to all the technical challenges of this season, and I hope you've enjoyed watching them too. If you missed last week's recipe where we took on the French patisserie classic Savarin, the link for that is down below. But this week, the bakers were asked to make an incredibly simple, classic British cake with one twist: no instructions. A light and fluffy sponge, sweet raspberry jam, and buttercream frosting makes the Victoria sandwich one of the nation's favourite cakes. Now for those of you who've watched our simple cake mix from Bradley's Baking Basics, you'll know the ratios you need for your Victoria sandwich. Measure out your ingredients in ounces, half that number, and that's how many eggs you'll need. For this recipe I used 8 ounces of butter, sugar and flour, and 4 eggs. Cream together your butter and sugar until light and fluffy. Add in your 4 eggs and keep mixing. This is also the point where you can add in your vanilla extract. Slowly add in the 8 ounces of flour and continue mixing until nice and smooth. Line and grease your baking tins and then evenly distribute your mixture between the two. Bake your cakes in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Once light and golden brown, remove from your tins and allow to cool. For the raspberry jam, you'll need to use equal measures of your fruit and your sugar. I've used 125 grams of raspberries and 125 grams of sugar. Boil for 3 to 4 minutes until the jam covers the back of your spoon. Remove from the heat and allow to cool until nice and thick. Now if you've also watched our simple buttercream icing recipe from Bradley's Baking Basics, you'll also know the ratios you need for your buttercream. It's half the amount of butter to your icing sugar. Place 4 ounces of butter into your mixing bowl, add 1 tablespoon of milk, and then slowly add in your icing sugar a tablespoon at a time. Keep on whisking until the buttercream is light and fluffy. Once your sponges are cool, it's time to assemble the cake. Place your first layer of cake onto your serving dish and pour over your raspberry jam, smoothing to the edges. Next you need to pipe an even layer of your buttercream on top of the jam. Once covered, place your final layer of cake on top. All that's left is a dusting of icing sugar and your Victoria sandwich is good to go. Thank you so much for joining us for another Behind the Bake Off recipe. Unfortunately, this does mark the end of the series and the last full series on BBC One, which is quite sad, but I hope you've enjoyed it and it's gone out with a bang. If you've missed any of the recipes along the way, you can check out the full playlist down below, and I've also created a handy BuzzFeed article so you can learn how to make all the technical challenges in one place. Thank you so much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you next time.